Oh,
We are live. Hooray. And Diana is here. And Vasant is here.
right.
So now I learned something from you. And hello to Bozena. Hi. Um, this is the first time I've done the hangout this way, starting it way early, but not going live. And I didn't, that meant you got to watch and listen to whatever I'm mumbling to myself.
You should be careful.
So yeah, so now I know I must be careful.
But you can see when someone joins, right?
If I'm watching this, yes, but I was busy working on other things. So typing away. So I'm glad you're joining us. And I don't know if you had a chance to see the chat space or the post I just added to our class listing for the topic today.
No, I did not have a chance. I just checked.
So we're going to talk about swimming.
About what? Swimming. Okay. Bye. Go, Bruce.
And for those of you who can see the chat, these are some of the things we thought we might talk about. Oh, I saw Vasant for a minute and then he disappeared.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So I thought we'd start with these ideas and see what you guys come up with. The other one I forgot to add here that was in the chat is spas. I know some of you have experience with spas, which are very different, from my experience, very different from country to country. So I'm curious to hear what you have to say about swimming or what you have to ask or practice using with the idiom. So swimming, what comes to your mind? Do you swim? Do you like to swim? Where do you swim?
Yeah, actually, as for swimming, that's funny. I felt probably something because just today I recollected an interesting experience when I was, I don't know how to call that. I was sick while swimming on my back in the swimming pool. Can you imagine that? I was seasick. It was so funny. You know, I was swimming. Yeah, I was swimming and I just looked at the ceiling, and then all of a sudden I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to puke right now because I was so sick. I don't know. This is the movement sickness, whatever it was. I don't know. And that was so funny.
So when you're on the water in a boat or something, we call this motion sickness.
That's right. So, but I was swimming, you know, on my back, and it was so funny. Yeah.
Wow.
So I can do all different things, you know, while swimming. Even being seasick can be there.
Hello, everyone. Great.
Hello.
Hello.
Gerard and Diana and Vasant. Yay. Swimming. We're talking about lots of things swimming. And I've posted some idioms. Those of you who can see the chat, posted some idioms and possible vocabulary to get you thinking. And I just want to hear your stories or questions. And you are a master of jumping into shallow water. I remember you telling us about how you got hurt a year or two ago. Yeah. I hope that is not an ongoing practice.
But I like it now. I do it like on regular basis.
It's a hobby. Yes. Break your head, right?
It's. I found that it makes my life like better, like more richful.
Absolutely.
Not if you land on your
cannonball,
head.
Right.
If you do the cannonball, do you know the cannonball?
Yeah. Well, it's not the Russian way, Holly. It's not Russian way. Just head first.
So when you jump up in the air and scrunch yourself together like a cannonball, splash. This is but it's fun when there's a pool full of people and you want to get everything splashed and wet.
Yeah.
For wimps, thank you. I happen to like doing cannonballs. Oh.
I'm trying to.
How often do you swim?
3 days a week at least.
For real?
Because-
You're serious?
Yes, I'm serious. Because all my schedule, I'm a married man of middle age. You know, all my schedule is formed by my boys. So 3 days a week they have a training in the pool, and I have to accompany them.
Year round or just right now?
Sorry?
Year
Right.
round or just a short term right now? Seasonal or year round?
It's not seasonal. It's like all year long.
Round. Yeah, round. Put it down, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, to do something year round is to have it last.
Yeah, we call it like section, or I don't know how to call it in English, but it's when you have a coach, and you it's not supposed to be a short-term exercise. You pay for a year, be long or something like this.
It's like a lessons, yeah, just training.
Yeah, but the thing is that you cannot just skip few exercises and then start again. You have to visit everyone.
Okay, so it's intended to be a full program, not a
And I have problem when I go to vacation. I have to got some permission. Yeah.
Wow. Gerard, yeah, I want to hear Gerard talk because you made an interesting sound when I asked how often you swim.
I don't like swimming very much. I just wanted to ask, what age is deemed to be middle age in America?
I think I added a post about this recently. There's a post on 7H about this.
Oh.
That I just added recently because I think, or else it's in my pile to add. I have a big pile of things I want
like
to add.
75 to 89.
Right. No. So it seems to be changing, though. But I would say generally most people would tell you sometime between 40 and 50 is when it starts. And 40 to 65, 45 to 65, 50 to 60. People have different definitions now because we are living so much longer or likely to. Yeah, I read this morning that the oldest person ever lived to 122 years old and 160. Can you imagine? That would mean I'm just halfway through my life. Oh my God. That's just crazy. But yeah, so middle age is changing. People don't like that term anymore because it's so much is different here. So what about in Spain? And why don't you like to swim, Gerard?
In Spain, I think it's also is the same, and I don't know why I don't like to swim. I'm able to swim, but not very well.
Yeah, you have that beautiful Mediterranean right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
We have a proverb or saying here: if you not pay for that, you don't enjoy that. So we have to heat up our swimming pools almost for 9 months, so we enjoy it, for full. And they have sea always, so swimming, who cares?
Right.
Wow. Laura, Vasant, do you like to swim?
Only small remark about middle age. I think that middle age, it's a cultural thing. It's a very different thing in Russia by gender. How to say it? I don't know how from gender point of view. Because middle age for women here, I think it's about 50. My guess, I don't know exactly, but for men it will be like 30. Because boys are boys. We live fast. All these things.
I have another opinion on that. I think that men in general, they cannot get to that point. Actually, they die like children. Just doesn't matter what age they die, they're still boys.
I agree.
Never grown ups. Yeah.
Laura?
Yes, Holly.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say something. I was going to let you speak.
Yeah, sorry. No, I mean, I don't know how to swim, but I would love to learn.
Yeah. Well, one of my questions was you'd had lessons and whether they were in school or something you had to pay for. So you've not had lessons. Yeah. I meet more and more adults in the same position that have never had the opportunity. Interesting. Do you wade in the water at the beach?
Not anymore. I don't go to the beach anymore. Even though we live close, we have an ocean really close to our house, but we don't go there.
Oh my goodness! Yes, yes, you're right, Ivan. You need to pay a lot of money to travel there.
Yeah.
To fully enjoy it.
For me to reach any sea, I need 15 hours of flying, and then I enjoy it. I know that every day on the sea is valuable. I want to,
that's right.
Yeah, I want to use that, but those guys, they don't care.
Yeah. Human nature.
I know you have swimming. I remember a host of yours that I loved. So do you like to swim? Do you go often?
Yes, I like to swim, but nowadays I do not swim that much. I used to swim in my childhood because it was fun, and we have so much ponds around the village, and especially wells. I don't know. I think I shared an image on our website about stealing the water. So I think you might have noticed that deep well that we have for irrigation purpose. So we used to swim in that wells too. Yes, it was quite fun, and we learned swimming by on our own. But nowadays we don't. I don't. I think I don't.
Don't go often. Well, I don't swim much anymore. Growing up, most of our summers at a lake, and freshwater lake, and our own private dock. Well, I don't know how put a dock can be in a big lake, but we had our own dock, but we would swim right at our property, and sometimes with friends. And I enjoyed that freshwater swimming. I've never enjoyed ocean swimming as much. And now I don't swim very much at all because I'm ashamed of my body, I guess. In a bathing suit, I just don't feel torturing other people would have to look at all the varicose veins on my legs. So I don't. Our neighbors have a pool and they invite us all the time, and I prefer.
And you're just too shy.
Treated.
I'm kind of surprised to hear that because I'm ugly in swimsuit, but I use that. I use that to clear the beach.
Yeah, that's a good. Actually, it's a good thing. Just the uglier the person is, yes, the more space he or she gets.
Right.
Nice.
It's my way to take some space.
I see photos of public beaches, and I'm like, how can those people be out there? And then part of me is like, that's awesome. You should be out there, But I grew up with a very, very heavy mom and have issues around the shame of that. So it's hard for me to grow much more comfortable in capris or long pants in a bathing suit. And then I have this issue, flabby arms, getting old. And so
Holly, I think you can
used to it. As the years go by, I get better. But
I noticed that many people from many different like nations, they have different swimsuits. For instance, swimsuit for Indian men, you know, from India, usually it's a full clothed, you know, how we call that, you know, with tie. So they never show you anything. They just swim in the formal suits.
Formal suits. Yeah. But
I
it will look
don't
a
like-
little bit strange, you know, just in the neighbor's pool. So for Holly to get dressed in that suit, it will be a little bit weird.
From my impression, what I know about America, it's hard to be, you know, strange. So you will be just another subculture or something.
Thank you. Thank you. I fit in well then, I guess. I can proudly call myself. Yes, Gerard.
In my campground, I don't know whether she was a man or a woman, asked whether it was possible to wear burkini in the swimming pool. And that with the people from the campsite didn't know what to say. Of course, it's not forbidden, but the thing that is that maybe the woman would be uncomfortable because people would watch at her, you know, because it's not usual.
Right.
That.
Yeah.
But she's in burqa. Who cares, watch or not?
Okay.
Well, the burkinis are a little. They're different. Yeah. Do you know if she did swim, Gerard?
I don't know. I don't know what eventually what happened. I have to ask. And another thing, you know, recently in Catalonia, in a village, there was a poll between women whether they could do topless on the swimming pool. And the women decided, most of them, that yes. So the men didn't have the chance to vote, but it's supposed what they would vote. So not need.
A no vote. Come on.
So should we call that like discrimination or not?
I don't know. Maybe because
Reverse discrimination. Yeah.
no.
Yes. Why men don't have a chance to vote? I don't.
Because men, you know what they would vote. So
Why?
women are the ones who have to. Because
Still,
it's regarding.
Ivan wants to vote, you know. And actually, you reminded me the question my daughter keeps asking me all the time. You know, it's like very hot here. The summer is extremely hot. So she says, why do the men can, you know, strip in the street and go bare with their bare chests and women don't? Why women don't do that? And I just tell her, okay, why? What should I tell her? I don't know. Because we didn't vote?
We were not given the chance to vote. Change the law.
Yeah.
It is something I think about a lot too. The cultural restrictions that are so strong that we learn and what seems odd and what seems okay.
But actually, I would vote against that because it's not my culture. It's when I was in Spain, there are a lot of, you know, topless beaches, and I didn't like that. So I don't know why, but
No mystery.
no mystery. And you know, when you vote about this on the pool, you think maybe it's mostly about, you know, models who will came from France or something, but usually it's not so.
Yeah,
Disappointment.
Exactly. So you should also vote for those women to go to the gyms right before that. So just like 9 months of gym first, and then go to the beach topless, right?
I would change my opinion to yes instead of no, but with some restrictions. You know, there should be some jury that decide you can't and you cannot. And
who will be the jury?
I don't know. We have to do some random selection.
Some wise people. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And we're talking about swimming, actually.
Yeah. How we choose this?
So I can use the idiom that Ivan likes to swim against the stream.
Yeah, but I thinking about these random selections of jurors, you know, like in court. So just this year, you and you will decide.
Mhm.
Yeah,
For a group
good
of
idea.
jurors,
Mm-hmm.
to type story, so somebody keep talking. Roar, yeah, there we go. So we haven't heard much from Laura. Anything you want to add to this or ask?
No, not Holly. I'm just listening. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody to add or ask?
What about drowning?
Oh,
That's a pleasant topic.
topless drowning. Yes, I can see the logic of it.
Swimming, drowning. That is a relationship.
Yeah, sure.
I like this idiom that says drowning in a tub of water.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Spanish, we say drowning in a glass of water.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, another good idiom, but not a pleasant one to be experiencing. But
yeah,
but many people who have worked in office situations for a long time can feel like this in an office situation where you're in trouble and you just go worse and worse and worse and you're drowning. Yeah, feels like that. I'm trying to type this story rather than talk because I want to hear your voices. And I'm sort of thinking, why did I laugh when we talked about clearing the beach and whatever? But this women's conference, the organization rented the largest pool on campus and blocked all the windows with the screen that lets some light in, but people can't see in. And they had a free swim, nude if you wanted to, for everyone. And it was wonderful. The women felt, it was all women. So most of the women felt comfortable. And then some of those who didn't felt more and more comfortable. It was invitation only. So they went around quietly inviting people at the conference to come if they wanted to. And it was like 4 hours in the pool, and it was not having to worry about all the cultural restrictions or feeling them in a different way. And then in the spas in Korea, the floor of all women was a very different experience for me. All these women of all ages wandering around comfortably, casually. You don't see that in the US. You see women sometimes walking around, but most of it's very uncomfortable, and it's not often that people are free to have the confidence. Those that do are usually at the most beautiful body stage of their lives. And it's sad. I mean, the reality is pretty much that very, very, very few bodies stay beautiful their entire life by what beauty is defined. And I think it's good that some of that culture is eroding. And shouldn't laugh at people, but I do, if I don't laugh out loud, I laugh inside, or I feel more shame for what's wrong for me, and I fight it, but it's very strong. My experience, the culture is very, very strong. Interesting. So drowning. Has anyone been drowning in a cup of water lately? Happy topic.
Yeah.
Well, I experienced it. I don't know how to make experience to the platform. I have such experience.
Yes, I have had such an experience.
Yes, once, and still remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it was in the river with big stream, and I was under the ice, so it was kind of, and I could not break this ice to to get out.
Wow.
Oh, you don't mean the idiom meaning. You mean literally under the ice.
Literally, that's right.
Whoa,
Wow.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Like the movies.
Yeah.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my least favorite parts about summer is the stories, the tragic stories of mothers or fathers or babysitters who turn their backs for just a few minutes and little toddlers will drown in little shallow pools.
Hmm.
You have to watch the kids every minute. Yeah.
I like those videos when they, with those little babies who can swim easily, just there are a lot of videos with
Yes,
toddlers and babies.
yeah.
So,
Mhm.
so actually, if you start
Like-
teaching them young, yeah, but of course you need to watch them. It's not like you just let your child swim for hours over there, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Or like Ivan says, when you have lessons, the parents are usually required to be in the water.
Yeah, sure.
But I was the water for my middle boy. He is 2 years old, not for old one.
Mhm.
And all my boys, they started to swim from the first day of their life with my wife in the special pool. So all of them, like, all I don't know, they don't have a day when they don't know how to swim in their life. So we continue that every week, and many times I just throw them away from the boat when we have rafting exercise. It's normal. Yeah, it's normal. It's they like it. They just laugh, and so we don't watch them when they in the water. So I told them from the boat to the pools to the rivers, and it's always fun. But when we was in Spain, when we were in Spain, it was a huge problem. Many people tried to save them, tried to attack me.
really?
How I treat my boys this way, it's not appropriate. Yeah, it was funny. And for yeah. It was a big storm, and in general, Spaniards don't swim at this October. They think it's too cold. But we do that like always, and they often attack me. That it's not supposed to be so like that.
Wow.
So you're lucky they didn't send social
I don't
services
care.
on the
I don't care for Spain social services.
well, okay, but they can care about you, so they will have a lot of explanations to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, interesting how different our experiences are. Some people are so terrified of water because they never learned to swim, and fearful for their children because they don't know if they'd be able to help them.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of that. I'm not a very confident swimmer, So Bojana loves water, but she cannot swim because I'm not a confident swimmer. I just don't know how to teach her. So I don't know. She'll probably lessons would be nice, but she has her schedule is so full, that I cannot just put in more on that schedule. Oh my goodness. But it would be a nice idea, nice experience. It's good for the body, it's good for the growing skeleton and everything, and muscles, and yeah, it's good.
So what's the name in English of the guy or gal that watch people not get drowned
Lifeguard.
on the beach? Lifeguard?
Lifeguard.
Guard.
Okay.
It's on the list. Yeah, lifeguard.
And sorry, Helena.
Yeah, and Holly, I also heard that swimming is one of the most complete exercise. Is that right?
And that's what we're told. It can be if you swim correctly or really swim. If you get in the pool and just do the doggy paddle, then we call it.
But the good thing about swimming is that it's water is usually more colder than air, so you lose calories just doing nothing. It's already good.
Well, if you put yourself into the fridge, it's even colder, so is it better in such a way?
It's less convenient, I think.
Okay.
I took aqua aerobic classes years ago, after 30 years ago, after Amber was born, and trying to get some of the baby fat off. And I was amazed the next day after my first lesson in the water. They taught us, I'll never forget it. They told us it's so important to make sure your heels touch the bottom and not to walk on your toes or land on your toes, but put your feet flat, because you won't believe how your muscles will feel tomorrow. And it was so true. When you just simple, nothing exercises, but wow, do you feel them the next day? And I would love to find a local pool that felt clean enough and comfortable enough and safe enough and all that, and not too expensive. I would love to take aqua aerobic classes again, but they're more than I can justify in expense. But they are very, they really work a lot of different muscle groups that takes a lot more to work out of the water. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So interesting. Sink or swim? Have you ever been in a situation where someone just put you out there to sink or swim? Do you know this idiom?
Yep.
So what's a situation where someone might be in a sink or swim situation?
In Russian, it's a well-used idiom about that. So we always used, if you want to teach someone something, just toss him in the water. And I how to say it? I confess this way all my life. It's my way of teaching something.
And learning?
And learning too, yeah.
Yeah. Teaching is, just can be easier. Yeah, it's just easy, just to teach someone, but to learn.
Yeah. I don't think it's always a good thing to do. That some parents who throw their children to the water by surprise, and then they suppose that they will learn to swim. Sometimes it's the opposite. They get traumatized and they don't learn to swim anymore.
Yeah.
So in the literal sense, it does not work very well. This was sort of done to me with diving, deep diving. I was afraid to go deep because my brothers used to always push me underwater and hold me under until I was panicked. And so I was afraid of underwater, deep water. I'm much happier swimming with my face above the water. So literally it can be a traumatizing thing, but idiomatically, it can be a more effective way to learn. Once you've had basic training, you have to get some hands-on experience.
Right.
It's like with computer skills is what I think of. So many times you learn and somebody shows you this is what you do and it's okay, now do it. And it's much easier if you teach while someone is doing it along with you, so that you're not totally sinking or swimming and you've had some help along the way. Yeah. But it can be what you have to do, right? At some point the training stops and you jump in.
Right.
All right, so what else might there be? Skinny dipping. We haven't talked about skinny dipping. Is skinny dipping a U.S. thing? I don't think so. But do people talk about it? Do people have places where they can skinny dip?
No idea what is that.
Go swimming in the nude. No bathing suits. No clothes. Skinny dipping.
I did that with my husband a couple of times when I was very young and reckless, but not like the special, place. It was just hot, we were walking and climbing the mountain, and there was river over there, and it was no bathing suits, nothing like that. So, and we were in love, and just it was a proper time, proper place. Everything was perfect. So
nice.
Yeah.
My mother was a strong believer in skinny dipping in the lake that our camp was on up in Maine. after dark when no one was watching, and you because it feels the water so soft.
Absolutely different. Absolutely different, right?
It is an amazing experience, and I highly recommend it, but I am not comfortable in a nude beach.
Yeah, sure.
But in the right environment, like you described, it's magical. It feels so good. It's so different. So does anyone else have a question or story about skinny dipping? It's no fun when someone catches you with a flashlight.
Well, but it can be a very funny story to tell years later, you know.
In Spain, is something normal.
Yes.
There are beaches that you can do skinny dipping or sunbathe naked, so it's not a problem.
But privately, not publicly, but privately.
Public up.
Yes, but that's different.
Yeah,
that's a nude beach swimming. But to experience a private skinny dipping without witnesses, except for those that you choose. Yeah, so not needed because people are comfortable publicly. It's so different culture to culture. Yeah, and how you're brought up. Your own family culture is a big part of that. My father, I don't think ever went skinny dipping that I know of. Probably with my mom, but never that I know of. But my mom was always trying to get her friends to try it, come over at night and try it. And they never trusted her. They always figured she put the searchlights on or something. But it really does. It's a beautiful feeling. I used to dream of being wealthy enough to have a beautiful pool that was in the perfect setting where no one could see you, and it hasn't happened yet. All right, we need a new topic maybe, or something else with this. Anything else on my list? Synchronized swimming. I remember Irina telling us that she used to do, maybe still does, synchronized swimming. I love watching the synchronized swimmer competitions. Beautiful. Spas. Yeah, Vasant wanted to hear more stories about people's experiences in spas. What sort of spas are there in your area?
In my area, the word spa, it's something so feminative that I would not go there with, for money.
Okay. So you don't have the mineral water?
I don't know. Maybe we have, but I don't know.
Okay.
Not for me. Not for male.
Okay. Yeah, not that he's prejudiced or biased or gender biased at all.
Not at all. So, but actually, like the mineral spas probably will be, well, but if it is heated, I don't know, probably, but it will take a lot of money to do that in your area, Ivan. So I think it's just that's the reason.
We need a volcano for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I've have spa experience, the recent one. We've been to Budapest with Bojana, but not here. We've been to Budapest, and over there is the huge spa. There are actually a lot of small pools with different types of water and with different, just different smells. There was the pool with the water which smelled like peppermint, very nice, just different. And and there was a huge pool of heated water, outside pool. And it was so funny because there was so many people sitting in that pool, staying there, so many. And they reminded me of those Japanese monkeys, that just sit in the pool. Just like
Yeah.
just staying there, just thinking about something, So, but then I enjoyed it, but it was very, very hot. I mean, the water was very hot for me. So it was like, it was 25 or something. The air was plus 25 and the water was about 38, something like. It was too hot for me. So like, I didn't enjoy it that much. So, but yeah, so it was nice. There were fountains and so many different pools and different saunas and different things.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. It's like the famous thing in Budapest, and a lot of tourists were over there. Too many people to my liking, but what can you do?
Not much these days. Yeah.
Right.
But we have that in my place, especially more on the north, where there's more active territory. We have a lot of, but we don't call that spa. We call that like thermal something.
Thermal, yes, exactly. Baths, spas,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
So
There are,
that thing is popular, but it's not spa in our language at least.
So what does
Right.
spa mean to you? Because spa has different meanings to me too. So
Well,
what does
spa for me it's something where you go to make your manicure or something to
Right.
get a massage or something like this.
Right. Massage.
Well, probably in these thermal pools, you also have those.
Yeah, but not manicure.
You just ask for it. If you ask and if you pay, you will have your manicure over there.
I'll try, but probably you just broke my pleasure.
We have
Well,
in Charlottesville three. Too much money here. 3 of these beauty spa places, and I'm proud to say I have never entered any of them. and they're so expensive, and it's like the thing to give your girlfriends for a birthday gift or whatever. And I'm like, no, it's not a Holly thing, but yeah, makeup lessons, and they try to sell you all kinds of special towels and cloths and whatever. I detest their advertisements, and it's totally not who I am. But many people I know love going and find it a highlight of their year. So I can understand where Yvonne's reaction comes from. But it's not all women, so no stereotyping. But yeah, but it again is what we're taught. It's fascinating how the older I get, I realize how entrenched parts of me are from my earlier in life experiences. I also think of spas as the thermal pool type thing, but not as you showed it. I think of natural ones. In the US, we have several areas where there are natural spas.
But I understand why we visit these thermal pools in Russia. We do that at winter. It's a special pleasure because you have plus 30 in the water and minus 30 out the water. So it's interesting. But and I like this experience. And once we go to this thermal pool in Vietnam, and I still don't understand why we do that, because it's like 35 outside and 40 inside. So what's the... I don't know. I almost died just of hot. So, but people who seems like enjoy that. I don't understand.
And a question from Laura.
Yes, I have a question, Holly. Is it the same thermal pools and thermal waters?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So out in your area, you're closer to many of the natural ones. A lot of them are on the West Coast.
Yeah. That's why I'm asking you, because we went to some like 2 years ago, but I thought it was different.
Okay. And that's okay for you? A small thermal natural pool? It doesn't feel like swimming. So
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's different. And that's really nice. That was a really nice experience.
Yeah. Okay. And then jacuzzis we haven't talked about. Home saunas and home jacuzzis. Are these popular in look at a lot of people, a lot of perspectives here today. So in your areas, in your country, are these popular? Do many people have their own home jacuzzi parties?
Oh, Holly, I live in such a small apartment that probably will be like jacuzzi will be like in the room. You'll just put your jacuzzi and then just swim in it. That's it, you know.
Yeah,
Just
right, yeah.
take the book from the shelf and write something down and work at your computer. So no place for jacuzzi for me.
Yeah, and also in Ukraine in general now, it's not the economic time where that's on too many people's lists, right?
Well, yeah, there are a lot of, well, probably when you have your own house, I mean, yes, like a bigger place. So why? It's not a problem, you know, because you can buy anything here. So then the variety of those bathtubs, you know, when you just look at them, you can be
Yeah.
amazed, you know,
Hey,
what they do
swim,
nowadays.
Swim in your bathtub for sure. Yeah.
Right, right.
Many people have, as I understand, have bathrooms that have shower,
Yeah,
little
yeah.
jacuzzi,
Hmm.
help for medical jet purposes, and then pleasure jacuzzi. All huge bathroom.
Yeah.
So in Russia, yes, they are. What about Vasant or Laura in California, where the weather is more? Tell us more.
But as Diana said, we don't have them in apartments, but we like always have them in public saunas, in all these pools,
Yeah.
on all these clubs. So it's very popular. Many people have that on summer houses, but not in apartments.
Yes, Holly, here in California, you know, people love to go to the ocean. That's what you hear every weekend. And also, most of the people have pools, of course, people with money, but there's also a lot of community houses, and you know, they have their own pools. So it's really nice. For example, right now we're getting, you know, closer to the summertime. So everybody's getting ready to that.
And do the pools often have the jacuzzis as well?
No, you know, I haven't seen those, but I know they have pools because my son he loves going there with my boyfriend's daughter.
Ah, cool. Yeah, the home that we bought for my parents years ago had a jacuzzi, which I thought my mom would love, but it was so gross when we followed instructions on how to thoroughly clean it, and it was made me never want to clean one again because unless they're really well maintained, they are not sanitary. And so I wouldn't want to be in any now unless I knew the people and their habits well. Yeah.
In Spain, it's not that expensive to buy a jacuzzi, but I think the problem is water. It's a waste of water using a jacuzzi. Another thing, you need to take some time to fill the bathtub, you know. And I think people who have them don't use them so much. Eventually.
And Laura wanted to say something.
Yeah, and you're right, Holly, because you have to be really careful about sanitary situation on the pools. I had a really bad experience when I was a child. I remember I was like 7, 8 years old, and oh my God, I picked I don't know how do you call it, but I got some kind of uh, little things under my feet, and it was really really bad. Yeah, and it was because of the pool was not clean.
Maybe plantar warts. I got these in Korea when I was there,
Oh my God.
and I've been ever really careful and aware of it ever since. So Yvonne would scoff at me because I do follow the rules more often now because that is no fun having those things cut out.
No.
Oh. Yeah. My podiatrist, foot doctor, I should never go barefoot for the rest of my life. I should never go barefoot. That's another way to help prevent having to deal with that hell again. So it's hard because I loved going barefoot. I used to be barefoot all the time, and very rarely am anymore. Yeah.
Even at home?
Even at home. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So it's was a change of life for me. Change of habit. Sure. But I suffered enough. I didn't want to go through that again. So every time I walk 10 feet barefoot, I have to go back and put my flip-flops on. I can't bear the thought of suffering again. Yeah, interesting range of swim discussion here.
Right.
Anybody think of anything else to continue this discussion, or a totally new topic? We could go back to what was it that?
Yes, totally new topic. It's a good chance for me to make apologies for tomorrow's book club. So I cannot visit it again. And for those who doesn't know, Diana provide us beautiful book club on Saturdays. So please, someone replace me tomorrow. Because that clubs usually it's all organized, because it's Diana do it, so it's all organized. We have roles, and it's my role is gender advisor something, right?
Feminist. Gender feminist of the group.
Yes. Gender questions advisor. My role, and we need this role. We need this role filled. For tomorrow. Yeah.
Fulfilled.
Yes. Yes. Nobody can fill that role. That's right.
As well as you.
No feminist. No feminist in our group without Ivan.
The Me Too guy. And what about the word mainstream? I think it's related to swimming.
Mainstream, to be mainstream?
To mainstream, to do whatever the people usually do. Do you like that, Holly? I don't think so.
Not often.
So, Holly, answering your question in the chat, because Diana, you can kick you out from the class if you're not ready.
Yeah, it's been some precedents.
Yeah, I didn't stick. I'm infamous for saying okay. Come anyway. Yeah. It's so much a better class, and you're saying that, you're showing that, but I lost the ability to make that happen. Playing the role of trying to get any activity whatsoever on any participation whatsoever versus keeping it real. Yeah. I ponder this so often. How.
And speaking about mainstream movies, mainstream music, all these things, usually I think not very good about that, because usually I think it's usually shallow things, for many people, like broad things. But when I do think so, I usually try a little experiment. I watch something that's called underground or something like this, and after that, for 1 year or more, I like mainstream.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, right? Yes. It's a balancing game, I think.
Right.
I'm so. There are too many mainstreams in the U.S., and technology makes it easy to live in your mainstream, and you can really see that in culture in so many ways. There's like their own little communities, and we all need communities. So there is positive and negative to it. My biggest rebellion to mainstream is not caring or following sports at all. My husband gets so upset with me when he says a name and I've never heard of it before. I don't know who this is. Not a clue.
Well, I don't want to upset you, but things like not following sport, it's a mainstream now.
There is a mainstream channel for that, I guess. Yeah. But sorry, sports definitely are still following sports is still definitely more mainstream than not. The biggest challenge for me is the spectators, is the money and the prestige that is given to hurting your body or hurting other people's bodies. Does not make sense to me. Just not, does not. That money could go to so many better uses, in my opinion. But I have to admit that sports and being a spectator, follower of sports does help many people's lives. It just doesn't help mine.
It makes many trouble for us now because we have all this Mundial. Is it English word? Mundial? I don't know.
World Cup.
World Cup, yes, World Cup in Yekaterinburg. It's everything is paralyzed. I cannot buy tickets because all the flights are booked for I don't know for when. So everything is congested.
And Russia is about to play against Spain.
And Russia is about to take a lose right from Spain.
Take a loss.
Very optimistic.
Well, we can bet, there is no totalizator, right? Is it the word totalizator? I don't know. So
you cannot bet.
You cannot find a dealer for betting for Russia. No one take your money for that.
So maybe there'll be a surprise ending to this story. I was eavesdropping yesterday, and someone was explaining. I'm trying to remember where I was. Library, I don't know. Someone was trying to explain the yellow flags and something about Japan winning over Senegal, and I was totally confused. It sounds like a very confusing system they have, and are trying something new this year. And I was trying to listen so I would understand if you guys mentioned something, but it was way over my head. I definitely do not know enough. And then I have one private student now, and last night he was all excited about World Cup. And it was good for pronunciation practice, but I couldn't help much beyond that.
But nowadays in Russia we have an official excuse, like it's because of World Cup. Why you came so late to your work? Because of World Cup.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Why is that okay? But if you're late because you're studying for a very important exam, that's not okay. Explain that to me. That does not make sense. Gerard,
my question, my always question, and most of the people in the world, why in America they don't like football, soccer? Why?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. All the immigrants come from Europe, most of them.
Yeah.
And everybody likes soccer, except
it's
America.
Growing. It's growing, but you're absolutely right. There's not the fervor. It's a good vocab word.
But I asked many Americans, and they answered me that it's just because of the pace of the soccer. They not like enough for Americans. They like the American football, and it's more action in that, and so on. So usually, I used to have some logical explanation of that.
But then, compared to baseball,
I don't get the rules at all. Just I tried, but I'm lost with the first pitcher or the guy who just swings this bat. Oh my
more
goodness!
about baseball than anything because
Yes.
I played that more as a kid. But
And what about those male chauvinist expressions related to baseball?
yeah,
First base, second base.
yeah.
And actually, it is so hard sometimes when you watch American movie and they are speaking I am completely lost at this dialogue, and they say, okay, I don't even bother, because you just need to know so much things, about baseball. So no.
Just don't say yes if anybody talks about first base. Just don't say yes.
No, and that famous thing, the first base, and who is on the first base?
Second base.
So second base.
And
Second
from
base.
what teenagers tell me, the definition of first base has gotten a lot deeper than it was when I was young.
So first base is traveling. Yes, it's moving. Okay.
First base is hickeys on the neck and I
Yeah.
mean, intense petting, and that was second base when I was a kid.
So the first base was just waving a hand.
Oh God! What a way to end. Topic of swimming. We end up on
Baseball.
Hick is on the neck. Okay, nice.
I think it's time to end this class.
We just got heated, you know.
Gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's interesting. And when I was in Korea listening to the college kids, to meet kids, the college young adults talking, I often knew that they were talking something that I totally did not understand and probably didn't want to. And it's interesting to me how much you can intuit by gestures and where you're huddling and who you're talking with and the giggles and the
Yeah.
so some things are rather universal, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Just indefinite, very different gradations.
That's right.
Yeah. But it's hard to be innocent as a youngster today. You know, we were able to stay innocent a lot longer than children can easily do today. So have an innocent week, all. And enjoy your book club. What book are you reading now?
We usually read short stories, so it's not a lot of pressure on our readers. So Stephen King, A Wonderful and Optimistic Story for Tomorrow. Yes, which is called. Okay, have you read, guys? Sometimes they come again. Sometimes they come back again.
Somebody told me that somebody mentioned that at the book club I went to last week. I don't read Stephen King generally. I haven't in years. He's a good writer, but too much for me. And but someone said that story of his is one of the best examples of some kind of literature, and they said everybody should read that story if you like horror stories in any way.
And this is about teacher, you know, just
nice.
It's nice.
I've not read it, but maybe I will.
It's not really. So you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So it's like a fantastic story. Just think about it as not like a horror, but a fantastic story. So yeah.
And he usually is a very good writer. So
yeah, he is.
I'll give him that. All right. Bye, all.
Okay. Bye.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye, all.
bye.
Bye.